So let's just say that I was your average, everyday guy. The type that you'd forget his face or name seconds after you meet him. I liked sports growing up, but the downside to the entire situation was that I wasn't very good at it. Still, I always played basketball with my friends, or my so-called friends at the time. Since I liked going outside a lot, my grades suffered all through high school. Maybe I wasn't gifted when it came to academics as well. My dad left us when I was just a baby, and my mom, well, she had other stuff to do than keeping an eye on me. I don't blame her for where I'm at in my life. Don't get me wrong. But the truth is that she wasn't around as much as other moms. Well, anyway, all through high school, I stunk at school and barely graduated. At the ceremony, they even left my name off the list. I was invisible to everyone, and the friends that I had were two next-door neighbors with whom I lost contact when they went off to college. After graduating, I worked some crappy jobs where I felt belittled and mistreated, but I always thought to myself, it's going to get better. Fast forward to my 21st birthday, I was old enough to drink and go to clubs, but it didn't feel that way. I just got laid off a couple of months ago, and I was basically broke. Not even my mom wished me happy birthday, as she was, at the time, on vacation somewhere with her boyfriend. On that particular day, I decided to order a pizza, but, of course, it didn't come. So, I got my shoes on and I went to the pizza place to speak my mind. As I was waiting for the pizza, I saw a sign in the store that they were hiring. The girl at the counter said that she was about to quit her job as she found something real and called the manager from the back. He was a nice, elderly man that had a calm voice and kind eyes. Wouldn't you know it? I got a job on my birthday. Things were getting pretty good. I started 2 days after that, and it was amazing. Everything was so nice. I was interacting with people, and every customer said nice things about me. I would ask them about their day, remembered their names, and the pizza that they liked. It seemed that life took a turn for the better. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel worthless or invisible. 1 year passed in a flash. You know the saying, time goes by fast when you're having fun. 1 month after my 22nd birthday, when my manager made me a cake and brought me to tears, I found out that he was retiring and someone else would take his place. He didn't know that person, but with a smile on his face, he assured me that everything is going to be fine. I didn't take the news well, but what can you do? One morning, just as I got to the pizza place, unlocked the door and went on preparing for customers, I could hear a strange noise coming from the back. It was the sound of heels tapping on the floor. I'm surprised that this stupid place didn't go out of business. Shocked, I turned around. A tall woman with red hair and red lipstick was staring at me. "What are you looking at? Aren't you going to introduce yourself?" she said with her hands crossed over her chest. "Oh, I'm sorry about that. I didn't know anyone was here. I'm Terry," I said while my voice trembled. She was quite intimidating. "Well, you would have known that if you came in earlier," she responded. There it was, my first encounter with the new manager, as she didn't even introduce herself on that day. Later, I found out her name was Janice. The next couple of days were harsh. She began demanding that I come in earlier, and I always left late. Besides being behind the counter and also making pizzas, she made me do other jobs like cleaning the table, mopping up once every hour, and if that wasn't bad enough, I had to make her coffee every morning and evening. Yes, those good old days were gone. She was a tyrant in my eyes, but I couldn't say anything because that was the only job where I actually enjoyed working. I was doing all the work in that place while she just sat around all day in the back, doing her nails and I don't know what else. But one day, I felt like the most humiliated person on the face of the earth. I remember it vividly. It was slow. It was a Tuesday afternoon. She called for me in her office just as I started assembling a pizza. "Teddy, come here right now," she screamed. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Terry, but since she started being the manager, she called me by this other name. The one time that I confronted her so that she could get my name right, the only thing she did was look at me, shocked, as if, "Why would you say that?" and stated, "Don't you have work to do?" And that was that. Anyway, she demanded I come into her office. She pointed to a bag in the corner of the room. It was her laundry. She ordered me to take them to the cleaners, and before I do that, another order came my way. "Oh, and clean my coffee mug, and make me another. You didn't make it strong enough today. What's wrong with you? How hard is it to make a good cup of coffee?" I felt like a slave. I felt like I was more worthless than the dust I had to take care of in her office every morning. I fell into a strange state of mental confusion, depression, and anger. I did the chores. The day ended and I went home. What am I? Why should I do these degrading things for her? Who does she think she is? I asked myself over and over again. This wasn't the life that I wanted. Who would want to be somebody's errand boy? The next couple of months were even worse. I had to do all kinds of things for her. One evening, she went home, leaving me behind to take care of everything. I was in a state of panic and rage. I didn't think right. I saw her as a monster, and monsters must be destroyed. So I followed Janice. I felt like I was in a movie. She arrived home, and I parked a couple of cars away. I saw that she was living alone, and how couldn't she? I waited so it got late, and without anyone seeing me, I decided to do it. I wanted to go inside of her house and kill her. That was the only option for me. I couldn't take it anymore. Her windows were open, and I just climbed right in. I had a ski mask on and black gloves. I was prepared. Janice was in her living room, drinking wine and cursing at the TV. It was some kind of reality show. So without even thinking, I came up from right behind the couch and wrapped my hands around her neck, choking her as hard as I could. She tried to escape and even let out a couple of screams while she kicked her legs, knocking the wine bottle on the floor and breaking it. I could feel her veins pumping while my fingers were squeezing her tightly. She managed to get a hold of the wine glass, and all of a sudden, I had shards of glass in my face. I screamed, but I kept choking her while blood was gushing all over. Finally, she stopped moving, and I knew I got rid of a monster. Holding my neck with one hand, I headed towards the window, but as I got there, police sirens and red and blue lights surprised me. Someone called the cops. Because her windows were open, a neighbor must have heard the commotion and all the screaming. Police officers entered the house with guns pointing at me. I froze. How could I end up in a situation like this? I was a normal guy with a boring job. I was the person you'd least expect to do what I did. I looked at the blood on my hand. I looked at her body laying lifeless on the couch. I realized the situation. The cops cuffed me and took me to the station right after I heard that Janice was pronounced dead. Yes, that's what happened to that boring 22-year-old guy who made pizzas for a living. You may wonder, what happened to me? Where am I now and what am I doing? I'm writing this story from my cell, where I'm locked up for another 11 years. Due to the glass shards, the left side of my face is paralyzed. You may think that I could have quit my job and nothing horrible would have happened. Well, who knows? Life's crazy that way.